Oh no, that's the piece of paper. We're Chesca and Ben, and this is Sophia, our self-built Mercedes Sprinter van. We live full-time in our tiny home on wheels, driving around Europe. This week we say goodbye to the busy south of Portugal and drive the wild Atlantic coast, stopping off at the most southwesterly point of Europe. Subscribe and join us for the ride. So good morning from almost the most southwesterly point of Europe. We're currently parked in Sagres, just outside the fort. It's a huge car park, absolutely full of motorhomes and camper vans, and it's generally seen as one of the good safe places to park where you're not going to get moved on by the police. I'm not sure what it's like in the summer, but here in the winter there is just so many people here. The last time you saw us, we had just moved from Praia de Luz because the police had come around to tell everyone to move out of this little campsite. We have now moved further west, and this morning we are going to go and explore the fort of Sagres. It's pretty windy today and pretty chilly compared to what we're used to.
That's not bad, €3 each to explore a fort which we know nothing about, so let's go see what we can find out. Had an 1894, no, 1824, sorry.
Sagres Fort doesn't actually have much to go and see, but the fortress has historical significance as a place where Henry the Navigator planned voyages of discovery across the oceans. Nowadays, its appeal lies in its dramatic position on the 200-foot cliffs with panoramic views over the crashing Atlantic Ocean. We're now back in the safety of the van, out of that wind. That was absolutely crazy, wasn't it?
Absolutely blowing.
I tell you what,
gale
you don't need Botox, you could just go stand on the cliffs here. And now we've just driven a few kilometres west to a place called Cabo de São Vicente, I think is how you pronounce it, and it's Europe's most southwesterly point. As you can probably see by my hair, we're giving up on the cliff walk. That was just a little bit on the windy side. To be enjoyable, wasn't it?
Oh god, yeah.
And you're getting like sand blasted in your face and sea spray as well, all the way from down there.
It's amazing views though, but it's...
Oh, it would be epic. Oh my god, I look like I've got dreadlocks. One steaming carrot soup. Oh, it's really hot.
Much. Oh yes, look at that. Beautiful.
15,000 feet before I hit the ground completely.
Some of you might remember from our Barcelona video that we briefly mentioned that we met this German couple and they gave us a list of places to visit in Portugal when we got here, and we've been carrying this around with us in the front of the van, haven't we, ever since we met them. And we've actually made it to one of their little points, even put the coordinates in for us, and it's in Monte Clérigo, which is just further up the coast from Sagres. And yeah, we just got this spot on the cliffs and it is blowing a gale outside.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's
windy, isn't it?
It's beautiful. I think I looked on the weather forecast. I think tomorrow the wind is meant to die down.
Yeah,
but it's like gusts up to 50 kilometres an hour today.
It's been the last couple of days, isn't it? Open the door and show them how like.
Oh god, I don't want any of this to go. That's gonna go. It's not actually not. Oh no, that's the piece of paper. We can't leave the van door open too much. But the views up here are insane. We've just come through the village and parked at the top of the cliffs. So tonight I thought I'd show you how we make one of my favourite curries. It's like a coconut curry with butternut squash and lentils, some toasted cashews, and it's really easy to make in the van and really tasty, and especially when it's like cold and windy outside, it's really like hearty and like comforting. So I'm just frying off in the pan some garlic and ginger, and I'm also just toasting the cashews, and I'll put these on the side and add these at the end, but I just toast them in the pan to begin with so I can get them out of the way. So to the onions and garlic, once they've cooked down a bit, I'm going to add some curry powder, some turmeric, and then my mum got me these from, where did she go? The Caribbean, I think. Some ginger and some chili powder, because that's, oh, it's cooking in coconut oil as well, so I'm just going to let that cook into there. Maybe add a little bit more curry powder, and then I add quite a bit of tomato paste. And just let that kind of paste thing cook for a little bit, and then add 1 tin of coconut milk. Just keep mixing that until that paste is dissolved and it's turned like a nice orange colour. So the trick is to let it simmer now for about 10 to 15 minutes, and that's what kind of brings all the flavours out and makes it really tasty. Then I'm going to add the butternut squash. So now that's starting to thicken, I'm just going to add some salt and some lime juice as well. I'm just going to leave that now to simmer and let the butternut squash cook through. Okay, so now that the butternut squash has cooked down a lot, I also added some green beans as well. I'm now going to add this secret ingredient, which is a good amount of peanut butter. You don't have to add this if you don't like peanut butter, but I just think it adds a real like rich creaminess to it. Once the peanut butter is kind of all blended in, I'm just going to add some lentils and just let them cook through. So now I'm just going to add the cashews that I toasted earlier, but I put them in right at the end so they don't go too soft, and they just add like a nice crunch. And there we have it, a nice hearty curry for a cold windy day. Well, I definitely think we hit the jackpot with this place. The wind has disappeared, and this is what we woke up to, and the police didn't move us, and we had the place to ourselves, which is why it was a jackpot.
Gorgeous morning.
It's about 9:30 and we're going to take a stroll up into the sand dunes this morning.
Talking from my porch to yours, though it's too far for me to see. You sit on the left in Georgia, I sit on the right in Tennessee.
If you've been to the south coast of Spain or Portugal along the Mediterranean, you've probably seen this plant everywhere. It's this kind of like, looks like kind of fingers sticking out of the sand. It's like red and green. And it's actually a massively invasive species. It's called the ice plant, and it's originally from South Africa. And it has just completely taken over the Mediterranean kind of coast. And yeah, it's quite an aggressive plant and kind of stops other plants growing. And this whole sand dune ecosystem up here, it's a national park, I think. So it's protected anyway, and the landscape here is just stunning with wildflowers and a proper sand dune ecosystem. But yeah, this plant is everywhere still, and what it does is basically just replaces any other plant that's around. But yeah, if you've been on the coast in Spain and Portugal, you've probably seen this quite a lot. Yes, that's a little bugger.
Bought an old hourglass just to hang around my neck. Well, if the time I've wasted doesn't...
Yeah, that was a bloody beautiful spot. I have to say, like when we were in the Algarve and kind of the south coast of Portugal, we were, I want to say disappointed, but it wasn't kind of what we thought Portugal would be. It was very crowded and very hectic, and after staying here, Portugal has definitely redeemed itself. That was just one of the best places we stayed on this entire trip, I think. Now we're gonna go and get some stock up on some food, and then we're just gonna follow the coast up today and just see what we can find. Because there are apparently some gorgeous beaches along this stretch of coastline. So we've driven about an hour's north of where we stayed last night, and even though the plan was to kind of like hop along a few beaches today and then kind of sleep somewhere kind of at the north of this national park, we're just going to sleep here tonight because you just can't beat where we are right now. Well, look at that, just like a picture postcard.
What's that bit?
Yeah. Wow. So there's this little spit of land that we can kind of walk down towards the sea on. It looks so volcanic and like all jagged. And then there's just these huge waves on this side, these huge waves over there. It's just so epic, this landscape. And the waves are just absolutely like massive, crashing on the rocks. It's insane. It feels like a wilder. It's like it feels like Cornwall on steroids. It's like Cornwall, but like
more wild and more.
Like that view there is just insane. So we've got our cups of tea and we are going to walk up onto the cliffs to watch the sunset. We were just saying what a nice way this is to kind of end our last few days exploring the Portugal's coast, because tomorrow we're going to be heading back inland. We are going to be like zigzagging our way up through Portugal, aren't we?
Yeah, it's not going to be the last time we're going to be on the coast.
No.
In this trip, is it? But
this kind of like south coast corner. But we're actually heading back. We're making our way up to the north of Portugal, and then we're going to be going back to the UK in April, at the very beginning of April, to get our MOT done. And then we're only going back for a quick pit stop because, do you want to say where we're heading off next summer?
So in May, or beginning of May, we are going to head to Scandinavia.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be awesome. So the plan is, as I said, to go back at the beginning of April, to the MOT, see family, see friends.
If any of you have any recommendations, places we have to go, things we need to see, things we need to do, please let me know. We love all your recommendations in the comments and on Instagram and stuff. Honestly, they've like been some of the best places we've seen. So if you have any recommendations, please let us know. We're going to be going to Norway, Sweden and Finland and just seeing as much as we can over the next, well, over a few months at least, for the whole summer. Hopefully May to September, I think.
May, June, July, August, maybe some bit in September to Scandinavia, and then then we'll see from there. But
that's the plan. I can't believe how quickly this like 4 months has gone, back from when we're in Germany and Belgium and it was raining all the time and it was muddy and we got stuck in mud and we had all those battery problems, and it was just like, what a difference.
Oh, we had battery
coming
problems.
down to Spain just like transformed.
We had a
van
battery
life for
problem.
us.
We had a battery problem, didn't we? Then we had the ABS problem.
Oh yeah, the ABS, I forgot about that.
And we got stuck in mud.
Yeah, it all happened.
But it was a baptism of fire.
It was a baptism of fire for our first
few
weeks of van life, but yeah, it's been awesome. And just to sit here on the coast watching the sunset is just getting eaten alive by flies. It's what van life's about. It is. So many more months of van life. Okay, so right by the beach. That was another, we were so lucky again to have the place to ourselves and no police showed up, so that's 2 nights in a row, which has been awesome.
I think off the, not so much off the beaten track, but out of the Algarve and the busy tourist areas, I don't think you get really pestered that much.
And also I think it helped that that road was so bumpy and was such like a long dirt road for so long.
Oh, if I was
like,
police, I'd be like, stop that guys, I'm not going down there tonight, let them camp down there.
Yeah, it was no, it was such a beautiful, beautiful spot. Now we've got a good drive ahead of us, and for about 2 hours we're going to be heading towards a little village inland called Matola. So I just had to pull over to go and take some video of some storks, because all the way through Portugal, especially not along this coast, there are just so many stork nests everywhere. Obviously this is where they come to nest during the winter. So right at the very beginning of our trip, like probably one of the first places we went to in Belgium was a nature reserve called Zwin Nature Park, and they apparently had this huge population of storks, but they had all gone and migrated for the winter, so we didn't get to see any. And now we know where they all are, and obviously we don't get these birds like this big back home, and just on pylons, on like treetops, these huge massive nests just like plonked on top of everything, with these huge birds just kind of sat there. It's really cool.
Whilst Chess was talking about the storks, I've just spotted stuff walking across the road. Huh. You probably can't see them here, but they're all crossing the road. There's loads of them.
Just arrived in Matola and found the most beautiful little park upon the river. Have a look at this. Some goats ringing off in the distance over there. And there's the river. And there we are. There's quite a few motorhomes here, which is nice. We weren't sure if we could park here, but it looks like we're all good. Lunch before we head in?
Yeah, definitely. I'm starving. What a gorgeous place though.
I know. I'm not 100% sure which way we're supposed to go into the old town, but it all looks steep whichever way we're
it's all
going.
uphill, isn't it?
Matola is a pretty town, with many of the buildings and streets retaining a strong Arab influence from the time of the Moors. It's a pretty place to while away a few hours, with views over the river and an imposing castle to explore.
So we've had a lovely afternoon walking around the little village of Matola. I think we're going to leave the video there for this week.
Yeah, we've had some amazing park ups this week, haven't we, on the beach and exploring the coast of Portugal. Please feel free to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Next week we're going to be heading further north into Portugal, so join us in the next one. Bye guys.